Today, we're making this cool wine rack. Cheers. Hey, I'm Christina. I own 25 & Pine with my husband, Nick. We've had this business since 2018, and today we're building this wine rack. Included in your plans are going to be this exact wine rack I'm making today, and then also one that has the fronts are filled in, so it's not an open slot for the wine bottle to fit into. So to get started, we're going to cut some wood on our miter saw. You can use whatever wood you want. I just found a piece of ash that was already milled by my lumber yard. And so I wanted to use that today just to make it easy. I went ahead and cut it to length on my miter saw. And then we're going to bring it over to the planer and plane it to 0.75 or 3/4 of an inch just to get it that right thickness to get it onto the CNC. So this is a CNC project, so if you have a CNC, you can download these files, and like I said, there's 2 options available. So we're just going to go ahead and get our CNC set up. Today we're using an Avid CNC. I love this machine, highly recommend it. We have a furniture business full-time, so we make a lot of side tables and things. So this CNC has been really handy for us and our business. My husband, Nick, is an engineer by trade, so he designs a lot of things that we actually can't produce or production in our wood shop full-time. So we wanted to start offering these designs and things to you. So this file cuts pretty quickly on the CNC. It'll have both files in there, so you can cut them separately or together at one time. And that's what it makes. So the cross pieces, I use my panto router to cut those tenons, but you can use them or make them on the table saw as well. You just make a small little tenon on the table saw. These little connector pieces. I made these on the panto router, but you can also make them on the table saw. I just need to cut this little tenon. And I totally forgot to record that part of the video of how I made them, but the dimensions and everything are included in your files when you download them. And then the CNC plans have the tabs already built into them. That way your piece doesn't go flying off the CNC. It stays in place with your little clamps on there. So I just cut off my tabs with an oscillating tool like I always do. And then I started adding a round over. I just did like a small round over on everything except for near where the cross pieces go so that those fit in the joints correctly. You don't have to do this step, but it's just a little extra added detail that I like to add to my piece. And I totally should have used a flush trim bit to get those tabs off before I started using my round over bit, but I just sent it, sometimes it's like that. And then everybody's favorite part is sanding. So I have a drum sander, but I didn't actually run these through. Since the material was already milled by my lumber yard, it wasn't too bad. So I went in with some 120 and then 150. Again, you can use whatever sandpaper grits you want. And I just sanded all my pieces before assembling them. And for assembly, I add wood glue into my mortises, and then we'll plug the tenons in once the glue is all spread around. I use Titebond 3 wood glue. You can use whatever you want. And then I just go ahead and spread that so it's evenly coated on every surface. Then you add your cross pieces into it. I make my tenons really tight. You don't have to. Sometimes that's scary for people. It feels like you're going to break the piece, but I would rather them be a little bit tighter. But that's just me. So when you're making your mortise and tenon, definitely do a dry fit before you're adding it. You don't want your piece to crack or something crazy like that. And you're just going to hammer that into place. If you need to use clamps to get those joints to be tighter, do so. But I've got a pretty clean fit in with just using my hammer. So then you got your wine rack. Once your wine rack is dried, you can add a finish to it. With ash, obviously you can add a stain or something to it to give it a little bit more color. I personally love just natural ash with an oil-based polyurethane on it, so that's what I'm doing here. I use an Osmo oil. That's my current favorite one. And you apply a thin coat and then wipe it all off. So if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and do that. I'm going to be trying to post more full-length videos on here in the near future because I love making content. And so if you want to go ahead and follow us on the other platforms, we're on TikTok, Instagram, everybody, and Pinterest like everybody else. And then we've got our final wine rack. I hope you enjoyed this build, and check us out next time for some more cool builds like this one. Cheers!